Hi, everyone. This is Tatiana Judiez. We are hosting Thrive and Shine, a show for amazing guests in this world who are authentic in their leadership, who are powerful in their leadership and in their lives, and who embody change, or at least they embody what they want to see as change in the world. So we have a lot of fun. We host all kinds of people from all around, all walks of life. What they have in common is really their desire to do what they really love to do in their lives, and that's why I absolutely adore interviewing all these amazing people. So today I have a friend, like I can't even pronounce that. I have a girlfriend who is amazing, who is also from Montreal, and who is an energy coach and spiritual guide. Her name is Donna-Marie Hallessy. Without any further ado, welcome, Donna-Marie.
Oh, I love the clapping. Hello.
Isn't the clapping so cute?
It's so cute.
I know, right?
I feel like I'm on a TV show.
Yes, well, you are. It's so unfortunately we're experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties right now, and Donna-Marie cannot see me, but we can see her, and she's looking marvelous, darling, with your gorgeous blonde hair. She's sitting in Pointe-Claire, next to Montreal, which is where I used to live. And we used to be neighbors, along with friends and along with a relationship client, spiritual guide relationship, I guess we would want to call it, right? Yes. So we worked together. We were friends. I've experienced you in many different ways. And
that's so true.
Yeah. And so.
Well, I know you well.
Yes, you do know me well. And actually, so to the back of you, I want to show this little. We can't really see it. I don't know if you can switch the camera a bit, camera a bit more on this little. It's like this little mermaid, blue mermaid. Bring it down a little bit.
Here.
Down. No, down. That's it. There is a mermaid. That's it. That's the mermaid. This mermaid has this awesome story. So Donna-Marie is a mermaid, I would say, or believes she is. It doesn't really.
I am.
You are, right. That's what I think too. So she lives in this beautiful house by the water, by the lake in Pointe-Claire, and when I went to San Diego for a conference, before I moved to California, I found this mermaid in this gift shop next to the hotel. I bought it because I could not bypass it. I mean, this mermaid called her name. And so I decided to get it, except I didn't have enough space in my suitcase, which of course is always super full because I'm a girl and I like to have options and choices and all kinds of stuff with me, right? And shoes and anything that I feel like having along with me. So what I did is I actually bought an extra suitcase just to bring back the mermaid to Donna-Marie. Yes.
That's a good friend, and I love you for it because I love that mermaid. And everybody who comes into my kitchen when we're in the living room, we're sitting here, and it looks out over the water. They're always like, "I love her," and I'm like, "Oh, I have to tell you that story."
That is that I love that story. That's probably our favorite story between us, right?
Yes.
So back to you, beautiful Donna-Marie. The work that you do today is so magical. It's so different than what you used to do, right? Or how you started in this life, which really is the common denominator with a lot of us and a lot of my guests, is we get to this work at some point in our lives because we're called to right? We're called to do what we need to do, what we have to do. It's like there is no choice anymore but to do what we do. And so what brought you to this, and where were you before? Because we need to have that story before we dive deeper into what is an energy coach and a spiritual guide.
Okay, well, certainly not like I set out to say I'm going to go and be an energy coach.
Oh, come on. Didn't you just come up to your parents and say, I am going to be an energy coach and a spiritual guide? And they went, of course, my love.
Yeah, I wish it had been that easy.
Yes.
No. It was definitely a journey. And, it's funny because I find that in this realm, when you talk about to different people who do a lot of light work or mediumship or clairvoyance, it's hard to title what you do, to be honest, because it's very varying what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And when everyone says, like, what are you? I have such a hard time saying what I am. And I said, I'd rather just tell you what I do. And you can choose to say what I am. And so what I do is I work with spirit energy. So I channel spirit, and I'm able to tap into others people's energy with the intention of unblocking them where they may have any mental, physical, or emotional blocks that are preventing them from being in alignment with their own clarity.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Basically meaning being on their compass so that they're living congruent to the life that they were sent here to live, or they have chosen to live.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't happen all of a sudden, obviously. And I've had other professions before I ended up streamlining my attention all to this. I always say, it happened by default, but I don't believe in anything happening by default. Everything
No, I don't believe in coincidence.
Plan, right?
No, I don't believe in coincidence. I don't believe in luck. I don't believe in anything happening by default.
No, there is definitely divine planning for everybody, and one thing leads to the other. So I had first become certified as an EFT practitioner doing tapping, which, if you don't know what tapping is an amazing tool to clear blocks, any emotional blocks. And it's like acupuncture, except you don't use any needles. You tap on meridian points that move through your nervous system, and they clear these blocks.
They really do, by the way. If I want to just interrupt you 2 seconds, it really does clear blocks.
Oh, yeah.
Because I really started doing more tapping with you when we were in sessions, as I've always had many questions. I'm the why girl, right? So we would start a session, and then you'd pick something up, and then you'd go, okay, let's just tap, and we would tap, and then of course within sometimes seconds I'd be like bawling my face. It really does work. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a really useful tool. I think everyone should be educated in learning how to use it, because it teaches self-empowerment, teaches people how to be autonomous for their well-being. Where it varies with the way that I use it, because I use it with spirit energy has no intention of dragging anything out. So when a client will come and work with me, as I tap into their energy field to see what's blocking them, Spirit is really wonderful at just bringing me right to the root cause. So when you do, let's say, traditional tapping, it's more of a lifting of layers, which is wonderful. Believe me, I'm a big promoter of it. I use it all the time. But when you're using it with spirit energy, they want to go right to the root cause, and they'll bring me to what's causing it. And then I'll have the client tap on it. So the cause and effect and clearance is immediate. It's a right away. It happens right away. So you're really able to lift people. Could be things that have been, burdening them emotionally for 40 years. And in, 2 sessions, it's cleared up and it's done. Sometimes it's in 1 session. It's dependent on how deep, easy it is for that client to release and let go. Some people have a little bit of a harder time, but now, since last December, there's been a definite in the shift of the 3rd dimension to the 5th dimension, the energy moves a lot faster, and they're really just trying to clean people up as quickly as they can, releasing them of whatever is burdening them, so that they can get them back in alignment with their own purpose, get back on their saddle.
So can you then, for our audience, maybe some who don't know or are not clear about what is the 3rd, 4th, 5th dimension, can you give a little bit of a synopsis of the different dimensions?
Well, that could be another whole show.
Right.
So I'm going to give a very short version of it.
Right.
So we were living so right up until December of 2017, we were living in a three-dimensional reality, where it's kind of like black and white. And it shifted in December of last year into 5D. And basically what's happening is there's a speed at which divine light energy is moving a lot quicker. So it creates an imbalance. In all honesty, if you're very balanced and aligned and connected, it's not as difficult. But for those that aren't, they feel it more. You're seeing the disruption of the shifts of energy with what's happening globally right now in the world. But it's to bring everything into alignment. So there's a good reason for it.
So are you saying that the disruptions, so what, in your opinion, what have we seen in the last year that is linked to that shift in 5D?
Well, what we're seeing is there's a lot of disruption. I don't like talking about government, but there's been a lot of disruption in government.
Oh, you can talk about government or the disruption of governments, yeah. But I mean, that's not, that hasn't happened just in the last year. So
No.
I'm trying to pinpoint exactly from your opinion, what is it that has tremendously shifted that is linked to the shift in the 5D?
Everything energetic has shifted. Everything. Okay. So where we're seeing it, you're seeing it where there's disruption in government. You're seeing it where there's disruption where we just had the fires, where there's earthquakes, there's physical disruption within the world. There's things that are being cleaned up so that they can be brought into light. You know, it's like if you have ants, you've got to pull the wooden boards away to find out where the ants are, shine the light on it, and bring out the dirt. So this is basically what's happening. The stuff that's dark, that's bad, that's not good, the light is being shone on it so it can come out into the light so we can clean it up. Right.
Yes. Very nice. It's not always pleasant, though. We know that.
No, it doesn't. Usually isn't.
Change is not pleasant, exactly, but change is necessary. Disruption is necessary. It's one of my favorite words or verbs, to disrupt. We need it. We need it to shift into. So how is, describe a little bit what 3D would be like, what 4D, and why did we go from 3 to 5 versus...
Well, it's just there's an energetic. So, it depends on what the level of spirituality on the world is.
Right.
And then you have the spirit world. And right now, the spirit world is very low, just hovering above the physical world. So we're able to connect to spirit, to spiritual assistance much easier than we were able to even 10, 15 years ago. They're coming down low because we as humanity have raised ourselves up. So there's an easier ascension for both of us. And there's more of a need to keep going, to push. So in the work that I do, what's happening now with the clients that I'm receiving a lot of dormant light workers. These are people that have incredible powers that they're still dormant. They have not been ignited yet. And they're showing up to be reignited, to get them back in alignment with what their own purpose is so that we can raise the vibration. That's what it's all about, raising the vibration.
Absolutely. So what did you do before that brought you to this? I mean, we need to hear this.
I fell into this.
I fell into this.
Literally,
Plop.
I did. My daughter, how I ended up doing this was that it was a procession of events, but my daughter had a condition that plagued her all of her life. And by the time she was around 12, she had a sleeping disorder, and we were not able to find a cure for it. And less medication, and that was not going to be an option. So one of my friends had mentioned to go and see this woman who did tapping. And so I called the woman, I spoke to her, amazing woman, Claudia Schechter. And she said to me, yeah, for sure, bring her in, we can help her. And I didn't really know anything about tapping. I mean, if you'd said to me, I can get you a ticket to Mars, there's a plant on Mars that she can eat, I would have gone. So,
well, of course, we'll do anything for our kids.
Exactly. But they are our teachers in our life.
Absolutely.
So anyhow, so all this to say that she did go, she saw her twice. And after the second time, the issue was resolved. So I was blown away. I'm like, how did you do, what did you do? Like, I mean, this has been going on for 12 years. How do you resolve this in 2 sessions? I don't understand. I need to understand. So she went on to explain how tapping works and what it's all about. And I was really happy we had found a solution, but I was very upset that nobody knew about it. I'm like, why didn't we know about this? How come there's such little information on this? And then she went on to tell me that she certifies people. She says, well, if you're that passionate about it, why don't you come and take the course and get certified? And I did. And I loved it. I was blown away at how effective it was and how quickly it works. And I mean, this is, you learn how to do it. If you teach it to someone, they know how to do it. So you're really teaching somebody empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me was everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, okay. And then I went back for the second certification, and I was working in another job. Actually, I was in doing marketing, and I had to gather so many hours. So you had to get a lot of people. So I kept offering it to everybody. Come and see me if you have any problems, any issues, any fears, any phobias, come and see me. I need to get my hours. And the more I kept working at it, everyone kept saying, you should be doing this. Like, this should be your profession. And I was like, oh, I don't think so. Like, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And people were starting to come out of the woodwork coming to see me. And I ended up saying, okay, well, if this is how it's supposed to go, then I'm going to give it a little more time and attention. And all throughout of this, I've always had capacities in the spirit world. I never used any of it. I didn't talk about it. It was not known to anyone. Just a small group of people knew what I was able, or what I was doing in that respect. And as soon as I started doing the tapping seriously, Spirit made themselves present right away and said, this is where you need to be, and we need to work through you. We want to facilitate. We want to move this energy through you to make these people get back into where they're supposed to be faster. So, the way that I do tapping, it's, the best way to describe it is like tapping on speed, because it happens very quickly. And it's to just get this person in a position where they are going to go forward in their life with the clarity that was either lacking, or lifted of the barriers that were preventing them from stepping into their full light, their full alignment. And in the last, I'm going to say 18 months, I've been receiving mostly, majority of my clientele have been dormant light workers. So these are all people that are needing to be reignited. And so it's been really interesting to see who's showing up. I have an incredible clientele that I'm blessed with. Beautiful, beautiful souls, and all ready to get into full alignment and shine their light and carry themselves to the best of their ability in their world, to see what it is that they're going to do with their own gifts, talents. So it's, I feel privileged, to be honest. I feel like it's a very privileged position to be in.
Yes, it is. It is. Absolutely. Do you experience sometimes resistance from some of these people? I mean, do they come to you because somehow they're guided to come to you? It doesn't mean that they are true believers to begin with, right? And sometimes I'm sure that they resist a little bit of the guidance. Do you experience that as well?
I don't really I won't say resist the guidance. You don't have to believe anything to come and see me. It's energy work. I'm working with energy. So,
well, trust me, I have people who just don't believe in it.
No, and I get it. But if you believe that you are made up of energy, and that energy carries a vibration, and if you're carrying a low vibration and it's blocking you from being in a higher vibration to what it is that you want to be doing in life, and I show you how to lift you out of that and get you back into the higher vibration, you don't have to believe anything. You feel it. It's not something that you will understand with the mind. It's something that you will feel with the heart.
Yeah.
When something has been lifted from you and you don't carry that anymore, it's an immediate.
Oh, yeah.
So, a lot of people will come and say, I don't know. But once they've experienced it for themselves, it's then understood. And, I could talk about it and explain it, but it's one of those things that is not understood with the mind. It's really understood with the physical form. It's when you feel a release, you feel it. If it's gone, it's gone.
Absolutely.
So,
and that's
for sure. Sometimes have a resistance in letting go. That's for sure. But when I do see a client, the whole room, actually, I go into a meditation for a half an hour before every client that I see, and I anchor and ground with very different energetic realms. I use the Christ conscious energy. I use the angelic realm. I call in the ascending masters, the healing masters, and I will call in that individual's own team of guardian angels. So you don't even have to believe you have guardian angels, but you do. And I will
it's a fact.
Them forward, just because what they do is they will give me a quick, like when you're in school and you have to write a
here we come. Here we go. We're going into an analogy here. Here we go. This is my favorite part of Donna-Marie. She will come up with the best analogies to describe exactly what she sees, and it works. Let me tell you. It's like, oh my God, we used to laugh our heads off with this. Okay, go ahead.
Well, it's so funny because when the client comes in, I have them doing a breathing technique, and this is just so that I can shift their energy and lift them. But as they're breathing, I can read their energy, so I'm able to pick up what's going on.
Right.
And so what I do is when I ask their own team to come forward, it's to simply serve me. I don't know that person. I don't know how they receive information. I don't know how much they can take. So their team does. They know exactly what they can hold. And so I just asked them to give me like a Coles Notes version on what it is that needs to be addressed while they're here with me for that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so as they're breathing, their team is kind of uploading me with information. And then after the client has done some breathing and we've lifted out some of the heavier energy, we'll sit down and then I'll just quickly write. I'll just listen to what they're saying to me, and I'll get a very quick little story on who that person is, what's going on, and what their needs are for today. Now, just to explain, as a medium, this is not like a clairvoyant where I am literally just opening myself to be like a vessel to receive, to channel the information.
Mm-hmm.
And the information that I ask to be channeled is with the conditions that is to serve and support for this client's best and highest good. So I'm not going to talk to them about, what's going to happen in the future or their health or,
Mm-hmm.
death in the family. The information that I'm asking to connect with is to get clear on whatever this person has blocking them that is not allowing them to be at 100% capacity.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
And whatever that is, that is. And, the people who are skeptic, because they're not listening to the conversation, I can hear it, but they can't. And, they're like, mm-hmm. But I had a client here the other day. She was so cute. And they were telling me to tell her, because you could see she's kind of going, oh. And I go, they keep telling me that you've got this song, by Pink, that you use it as your empowerment song, and you listen to it all the time. Just kind of looking at me like, I don't know. And they're like, no. Like she listens to it all the time. And so, oh my God. Yes, you're right. It's my ringtone.
And
there you go. So they'll always try to give the client some kind of a recognition
mm-hmm.
that, it is true that they know them, that they're speaking to them. And also sometimes you'll have loved ones, because I do connect with spirits that have crossed over.
Yes.
And I'll also invite them to come forward if they have any information that will serve that client as well. So when that happens, it's always very interesting. As you know, when I did your mother,
mm-hmm. Yes, everybody, but
to this, it was one of the most entertaining readings I've ever given in my life.
Really?
Oh
okay.
My God.
I give you permission to talk about it.
I won't give any of
she's
the details.
By the way, she's probably listening to us right now.
My
mom,
God, I hope so.
My mom is like my biggest fan, of course, and I love her for it. And maman, as I call her in French, allô, bonjour, comment ça va? So she's like bonjour, Francine.
God. Bisous.
Bisous. Yes, she's awesome. She's in France right now. And so my entire family has worked with you, right? I mean, my two daughters keep still to this day. Yeah, Natasha, my daughter, who's 25, who's traveling Bali, Thailand, was actually just talking to me about you last week. She's like, I think I need to reach out to Donna-Marie. There's a few questions I have. And Nikita has been with you. My mom has been with you. I've been with you. And yes, and my dad, who's passed, my dad passed 25 years ago when Natasha was born, and my dad has consistently shown up in our sessions.
Your mother's reading. I mean, your mother's reading, it was a classic reading. She came in and I guess
my mom is not a believer, by the way. My mom was
she could not have left. We were peeing in our pants laughing. I mean, the French from France, and they have a very... the French have a very interesting sense of humor.
Yep.
And they all came in. And so normally when I channel, it's usually in my mother tongue, which is English.
Right.
But I was educated in French, so I do speak French, but they usually will still speak English with me. But anyhow, they all came in speaking French. And there were three men, and one all talking over the other. So one was your mother, your father, your mother's husband. Another one was one of your mother's lovers. And then another one was
I don't even know that.
lover. Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the third one was who?
There were 3 men that were her, 2 lovers, 1 husband.
Oh my goodness, lovers. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
And then,
way to go, Mom.
Father came through. And your grandfather, I was like, I can't even tell you what he's showing me. Anyways, he kept showing me women and showing me boobs and showing me legs, and he's walking down these corridors.
Oh yeah, that's my grandfather.
Look at her. And I was like, I said, there's a man, and I said, I feel like it's the war, because I see like the way the nurses are dressed, it feels like that era. And there's a lot of, I said, it feels like the war. The energy feels like war. And there's a lot of young men in the rooms, young women running around. And I said, there's this man, and I feel like he's in the hospital. And, I said, but he's not showing me anything having to do with hospitals or medical. He keeps pointing at all these good looking women. And your mother's sitting there, I don't know who it is. And he's laughing, and he's like, no. So he's telling me all these different things to tell him. And I said, well, he's telling me you know him really well.
That's hilarious.
He's a doctor. And then all of a sudden she goes, oh, that's my father.
Yes. My grandfather was a doctor in a small town in France, and he
and apparently very promiscuous.
Well, he has an interesting history. Let's put it that way.
But he's hilarious. But the 3 men were literally fighting to speak with your mother, and I was so entertained by their reading, because they were all wanted to get in to have their 2 cents of what they wanted to tell her and what they wanted to say to her. And it really, came in perfect timing. It was when you were talking about moving to California, putting your house up for sale. And I think your mother, it was very clear. She was thinking of like, okay, my life's going to get a little quieter now. And they're like, no. It was a really fun reading, and it really benefited her a lot too. I think it gave her a lot of hope. But this is the beauty of the work that I do. I never know once I get into alignment what's going to come forward.
So then it leads me to ask you, what happens when there is a reading that is either unpleasant in what you need to share, because you have no choice but to share what you're told to share, what you're shown to share. Can you share, of course, not specific intimate details, but what happens with any reading that just is unpleasant?
Well, unpleasant, that's, what do we mean by unpleasant? Where you're going to pull up old feelings. Here's the thing. When I do my alignment prior to the client coming, it's very, very clear that I have this rule with my team that we're not to bring anything forward that they're not capable of dealing with, or they're not capable of hearing. Right. So my work is not to discombobulate you, it's to bring clarity. Right. So them knowing that, if there's something that's going to be brought forward, if it is for this person's best and highest good, it's going to come forward. But while you're here, you're being cleared. You're being cleared constantly. The energy is being lifted. It's being transmuted. It's being nullified. So if there's an emotional charge that's going to give a release and then a healing, it will be brought forward to allow for that. So the place is designed to help lift and clear. And it's uncomfortable as it comes up, but then the feel of the release after is phenomenal. So when I see that happening, I know that there's a reason for it.
So, but I'm sure you've had situations where it just wasn't that entertaining, and it wasn't. I know that right.
You see stuff sometimes that they're showing you things, and you're like, oof, that's not good. It could be. It gets into sometimes. I've had. It's funny what they'll bring you to. Somebody will come in and they have an addiction for smoking and they want to quit smoking. And then, I'm being guided to say, well, you need to go to the day they started smoking. And I'm like, okay. So then I'm like, okay, well, we need to go to when the day you started smoking. And I said, do you remember? And the person will look at me and go, yeah. And, it ends up being, sexual abuse. And so we're clearing sexual abuse instead of clearing a smoking addiction. But the point of the work is to bring it to the root cause.
Exactly,
and
which
was the root cause.
Right.
And
so people can come to you for any particular reason on the outside, on the surface, which always will lead to deeper issues rooted in the past, in their childhood.
But he needed that release. It was almost like what do you call it when you go in to speak to a priest, go into confessional? It was almost like he needed to confess that. It's like he had hidden from it. And, the cigarettes was his hiding.
Right.
And,
it was a mask.
so these things come forward. I always trust that the information is being brought forward to serve this person. And I always double check before I say anything. I'll always be like, are you sure we're going to go here? Yeah.
They haven't misled you yet.
No, I had this one client once, and this was really funny. This woman came to see me, and we were kind of talking about what it is she wanted to work on and clear. And Spirit kept saying this one word, and they just kept throwing it out there. And it made absolutely no sense to anything that we were doing. And I was just like, I was ignoring it, And as we're nearing the end of the session, she looks at me, and we cleared a lot of stuff. It was a really beautiful session. And she looks at me, she goes, this has been amazing. She goes, there's just, my only thing that I could say is just as I was really hoping to connect with my mother today. And I said, you get what you're supposed to receive. And I said, a lot of people will come in and they're hoping to connect with a loved one. But if that's not what you're meant to hear today, then it wasn't your time.
Right.
And she said, I know. And she goes, it's just that I miss her so badly. And, she says, I had said, if this is all really true, call me by my nickname. And I went, oh my God. So I said, is your nickname? And I said the word that they kept throwing.
Right. And
the girl just broke into tears.
Aww.
Because it was her mom trying to show that she was there, and I just kept like, this is not making sense to me. So I've learned to get out of my own head and to trust the information that's coming through.
So let me ask you, it's more of a personal question, but it is rising for me, and so I need to spit it out. Knowing how to connect in this way, what happens to? So I have two questions. What happens to you? With your own life, do you then use this? Is it as efficient for you to use this guidance for your own life? Like, are you also one who needs to be consulting others to, like, sometimes there's this expression in French, le cordonnier mal chaussé, right? Right? So is that what happens? Is that we get too close to our own life and then we cannot see as clearly? Is that what happens with you?
Exactly what happens. I mean, I certainly, I'm fortunate in the sense that I have this access that I can use. And I'll use it, for like silly things. Like I'll get in the car and I'm like, instead of looking at Waze, I ask them.
Right. What's the best way to get there? The fastest way? Okay.
It's faster for me. They're going to go, so they'll tell me, oh, don't go that way, go this way. They're going to redirect me, so I'll use it for things like that. But when it comes to personal things, when we're too emotionally involved, this is where I have a difficulty seeing for myself. And this is true for most light workers or people that work in this field of work. I know this for myself and for others. So I have my own team. I have several people that I go to, depending on what my need is. Because when you're emotionally charged, you don't have that clarity.
That's correct. Exactly.
Other people with and lifting the charge so they get the clarity. So, but when you're looking at something and it's too close to home, you just don't have the same perception, you're just too emotionally invested. So I have other clairvoyants, other mediums, other incredible light workers that I will go and see depending on what it is I need assistance with. But and we trade off all of each other because we all need that. We each have a different kind of service, and so we support each other with our services.
Yeah, and they're complementary, right?
Absolutely,
and that's what I love about.
For sure. Like, I don't deal with very volatile or negative entities. It's just not, I don't want to touch that.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have one of my go-to people who does. So when I have a client and I see that there's a negative entity attachment, I redirect them to that person. My job is to just do what I do to the best of my ability. And if somebody comes to my space and I see that there's someone else who could serve them better, I will send them along.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's necessary. I think that it's important to remember for all of us who are teachers and light workers that we don't have all the answers all the time, especially for ourselves, right?
I did, but
it takes a lot of work for us to serve. So through meditations,
and I'm gonna tell you, the more you know, the more you understand you don't know. You know what I mean?
Of course, exactly, and that's a
there's
truth.
So much more to know. The more you know, you understand. There's so much more to know. It's
exactly. That's a
universal
truth. The more you know, the more you know that you don't know.
Exactly. There's so much more to know.
So I remember some people around me close, even at the beginning of me really reaching out to people like you directly and others like you, my daughters were like, why do you consult people like that? And I used to say, because it's a tool. It's a tool for me to gain in clarity. It's a tool for me to gain in direction. It's a tool for me to understand myself better. The more I understand myself, the more I can rise, the more I can move forward in a way that is serving me. And so then if I'm at my very best, then I can serve others at my very best. It's really simple.
Exactly. And that's like that for anybody. I mean, in all honesty, when I got people coming to see me, they're like, who comes to see you? And I said, anyone who feels blocked in any way.
Yeah.
Because I said, but if you're struggling, we're not meant to be struggling, first of all. And we're supposed to be in alignment with what our gifts, what comes naturally to us. So if you're getting up every day and you're going to work and work is hard, well, honey, you got the wrong job.
Exactly.
Because we all have gifts and alignments that are our natural gifts. And those are the things that we're meant to be doing.
Absolutely.
And so if what we're doing does not feel good or it's a struggle, that's the universe closing a door on you and redirecting you to something that's easier. It's the path of least resistance. So when people come to see me, it is real to bridge the clarity that they need so that they have the understanding of what they're supposed to be doing, and to understand that is supposed to be easy. There's a flow you step into when you are in alignment with your own energy.
Absolutely.
And then it's the domino effect. Everything comes easily from that. So if you're not feeling that flow, there's something that's blocking it. So just come, let's move the block, get you back in alignment, and get you back. Sure.
Yes, and in essence, we do the same work in different ways, right?
Exactly.
And so what I find fascinating is how so many people in society, and how society has in fact taught so many people that they should be struggling, they should be sacrificing, they should be in pain and suffering.
But if you look back, if you rewind, if you look back, you can look at your parents, the way they were raised, and the families that they came from, the wartime where there was lack, not enough, and thoughts of lack. I mean, they were raised to believe that you had to work really, really hard to make a little bit of money. It's a mindset. Everything is a mindset.
Absolutely. I mean, it's perception, mindset, and a way to choose to believe things that don't particularly serve you.
Scarcity. There was scarcity. But, what is scarcity? So it's all about, looking at what that is and saying, well, that's a belief for me. And as long as it's a belief for you, it will be your truth.
Exactly. And
so
that's where...
that are supporting you, or are they fear-based, or are you supporting the truths that that you want to see as your truth?
Hallelujah, sister, I hear you. That's exactly what I talk about every day. So also the other question I had is, given this type of insight, I remember having a little bit of that conversation with you back in Montreal when we go to Avocado for a little bite.
Best Point Claire, by the way.
Yes, best restaurant in Pointe Claire. I remember asking you, so you have all this insight. What happens when you're in public? What happens when you're in a crowd? And do you have to make an effort to shut down all this guidance, because otherwise it could be overwhelming what you see and hear and know about people? I mean, it can be a huge, amazing tool, and yet it can also be totally.
You have to learn how to shut it off. You know, it took me 10 years to learn how to shut it off. It was not easy. It's a learning process. It's trial and error.
But what a tool.
It's like, and it's not fun. The error is not fun, I can assure you. You know, and my God, I can remember when I was married and going to restaurants, and we'd park the car and we'd get there, and then I'd get this heads up. And they're like, you can't go into that restaurant. I'm trying to explain this to my husband. I can't go. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, they're just going, nope, nope, nope. Don't go in there. Don't go in there. And, you know, it was not pleasant. And it's a hard thing when somebody doesn't understand, you know, and I just knew that they were protecting me. There was going to be energy there that just was not good or too overwhelming or could attach to me. And I was not skilled enough to learn how to shut it off. So now I certainly know how. But even saying that, you know, you can anchor and ground and shield and do all the work, which certainly protects you when you go out. And I ask that I be cut off so that I'm not picking anything up. I ask that it be opened only if there's someone that I could really be of service to. So if I'm at a restaurant, and this has happened several times, where because I can see the way I see spirit is I see them like stars. I used to see the physical form, and I found it really disruptive for me. So I asked that it only be shown to me as sparks of light.
Oh, nice.
And different color lights represented, you know, the energy of the spirit. And that was more, you know, I could handle that better. And so I would say, like, when I go out, I just want to be me. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be channeling anything, but only I'll let you, you know, tap on me if there's somebody there that really needs assistance.
Correct.
And it's happened a few times. And I'm glad that I did something about it, because it was all those times it was very beneficial that I had. But the majority, like normally when I go out, I just close everything off so that I can, you know, have some kind of normalcy.
Yes.
They sometimes still manage to squeak through. And, you know, there are environments that are not as healthy for people like us as others. So, you know, for sure, places where there's alcohol, bars, restaurants, stuff like that.
Very low vibration.
Vibrational energies. And so you're more susceptible to finding some, you know, not such savory strangers hanging about.
What a gorgeous way of saying it.
Yeah.
Savory strangers.
I have to be on my best behavior, meaning that I can't be drinking a lot, or I shouldn't be drinking at all. I do though. You know, but
or you stay home and drink more.
Even if I stay home, like I still have to. What happens now, you know, is like I will make my own conditions of like, okay, I don't want to be affected past this, and my whole body will go, okay, stop. You need to stop. So, you know, I have my own internal working systems that work for me, but sometimes you're just like, fuck it, you know, you just want to. I don't care. I'm having another martini.
Well, because you know, it's being human, and it's
the world. I mean, you have people who are light workers that won't drink at all. I'm Irish, so you know, I make it work. we have our conditions.
So, what is your greatest challenge in your life today?
Oh, my greatest challenge. I'm going to say the first thing that comes to mind, and it's not so much a challenge, it's a wish. It's like, it's my vocation. I want to literally maximize all of my capacities. I want to get into the highest alignment of every gift that I have. You know, when you're a light worker, you have these capacities that have been carried from lifetime to lifetime. Just the way your blood has DNA, your soul has a DNA imprint, and it imprints all the other gifts that you've carried from all the other lifetimes. And I've been told by so many other mediums and clairvoyants that I met, they always laugh at me. They go, God, you're so old. I'm like, I know. So I keep asking that everything that I have gathered across those lifetimes, that they all come into full alignment with this physical lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I'm still mastering, the different
Mm-hmm.
abilities.
Mm-hmm.
It's all vibrational alignment. So the more I move into that vibration, the higher I can go. So there's an
Mm-hmm.
ascension process.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to make space. Of course, you have to be able to carry the energy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a painful process for me. I don't know how it is for other people, but they
Mm-hmm.
have to make expansion. And with me, they do it through my bones. So it's very painful.
Mm-hmm.
But it's worth it. It's worth it. I know that this is what I chose to do. It was predestined for me. I'm aware of this. And I know that there is a reason that I'm doing it. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like for me, the intention of my work is to bridge personal empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
I think that so many people are completely unaware of their own capacities.
Oh, for sure.
I
Absolutely.
say I'm connected to spirit, but everybody's connected.
Everybody's connected, and some people
everyone has a spirit, everyone has a soul, everyone has their compass, their inner guidance.
Yeah.
No one's, or almost no one, has been raised on how to go there.
No.
And so it's lovely, you come and see me and I can tap in and I'm going to clear you and I'm going to lift the energy and you're going to feel better. And that's great. That's great. But for me, the intention of the work that I do is to teach that person how to do it for themselves.
How to carry on their own
well-being.
Right.
Yeah. Anybody can learn it.
Yeah.
Anybody.
So
it's not for some and not for others. It's for everyone.
We have about 4 minutes left. I want to go into what is your greatest desire?
Oh my God. To ignite as many people as I can.
So is your greatest desire the same as your greatest challenge?
No. Let's hope not. I think I'm going to feel challenged because I always want to learn more. I always want to understand more. So I think that's just, I don't know if that's really challenge or drive. I just want to know as much as I can know while I'm still breathing. I want to be able to ignite as many people that need to be ignited. I want everyone to be able to be in alignment with their clarity so that they can shift the vibration of the world. I mean, we're at a tipping point here. Let's not kid each other.
We are at a tipping point. Yeah.
The pod. I mean, we are destroying the planet. Take humanity off the planet. Planet's going to be fine. It will refurbish itself. We're the ones that are preventing that from happening.
We are our own
extinction, not the planet. So we need to take back and get the people in the right positions that have a better understanding, to keep the earth clean, keep the animals food clean, no more hormones, no more injections, no more pesticides. The earth is perfectly designed to take care of itself. We have completely ruined it. So if we can get the right people in the right place and start making a shift, oh my God, I will light as many as I can while I'm still here.
One word to describe you.
Oh.
One word.
To describe me?
Yes.
I'm an optimist. I think I'm incredibly optimistic. I believe it all can be done.
Beautiful. And what is the greatest change that people can embody, according to you?
Personal awareness. To become self-aware, I think
it starts there. Yeah.
When you know who you are and what you want and that's it.
That's it.
Everything else is governed after. It's self-governing after that. So it's personal awareness.
Totally agree.
Clear on who you are, clear on your gifts, clear in the understanding of your role here in this lifetime, your family, your friends, everyone who's in that environment with you. And it's not complicated. I get so many people who come and see me all the time looking for their purpose. I'm like, you live in alignment with what feels right for you.
That's right. Exactly. What feels good. It's very simple. It's what feels good. What feels true.
Happy, what makes you happy. That is going to lead you to what you should be doing.
There is no need to struggle. Back to that.
All do. But again, we've been taught that.
I know.
It should be hard. Trudge it out. If it's hard, you are in the wrong lane. Get out of that lane. You look at the people who win Olympic medals and they're like, but he's talented. It's his gift. We all have gifts. So learn what your gift is. Your gift is going to take you down that road.
Perfect.
Your power.
Perfect way to end this. Thank you so much, Donnie Hallessy.
Thank you, darling.
And you can find Donnie or Donna-Marie information in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. She is on the web. The best way is Donna-Marie Hallessy. Is that the best way to reach you?
They can go to my webpage and they can leave any messages there if they want. So
okay.
It's just www.Donna-Marie, so DONNA-MARIE.ca.
Perfect.
I'll post it on your thing so that you know.
That's right. Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much. We need to go. It was amazing, lovely, inspirational.
Thank you.
And so true.
So good to speak with you. I wish I could have seen you.
I know. I'm so sorry. We'll do better next time. Okay. I love you.
Okay.
Talk to you soon. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank you.
Have a beautiful day.
Bye.
Bye.